Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Some men, when going through the change, don't seem to patch things up at home and remain. Some men stay with their wives for many years, keep pushing forward, trying to conquer their fears. Brush sometimes seems to get into their way, causes them to want to get out and play. Brush has a tendency to get in their way, comes along and drives them astray. Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? You may think this is hearsay, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but hear this story about my sister, and you will soon find out. Her husband dropped her at the hospital, as he had always done. She got off duty and waited for her husband to return. She went over and called home on the phone, but he did not answer, he was not at home. He had been fairly punctual in the past. Then she looked and saw him through the window glass. Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? He said he was late 'cause he'd run over a woman's foot. This was the beginning of his search for another route. He had been accusing her of holding him back. He went out to meet that woman, he thought he was on the right track. As time went on, she thought that things were going along good, but he said things were bad between them as they stood. His other woman had called the house several times on the phone. June came along, he slipped into the house, got his clothes and was gone. Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Then 1 year and 5 months later, her life could not be any greater. He called on Thanksgiving night, said he was coming home to get things right. Brush always seems to burn out, but big wood keeps burning on. That's why he turned around and came back home. Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? Do you know the difference between big wood and brush?